Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Stadium, 1935. Max Baer taking on Joe Louis for the heavyweight championship. Baer, a former world heavyweight champion, lost it in his first defence. Max Baer, of course, sporting the Star of David on the left leg of his trunks. Joe Louis, a very, very economical mover, wastes very little, very hard puncher too. Baer trying to unsettle him very early on by rushing him. Joe Louis looking for openings with that left hand of his, trying to prise Baer open. Baer sticks out his left hand looking for range. Seeing the left hand of Joe Louis doing the damage here, picking up the points. Well, Maxi Baer's got no answer to that left hand of Joe Louis. As you can see here, Baer is appreciably the bigger man of the two. 6 feet 2.5 inches tall. Well, an unloading of punches here from Maxi Baer. Catches Lou with his head in this opening session. Scheduled for 15 rounds, of course. And a war has ensued here between these two men. And Joe Louis' short, sharp punches on the inside there, having ridden the storm here from Maxi Baer. Now Baer doing all he can to try and assuage these punches from Joe Louis. Louis only a half an inch shorter, but looks so much smaller as the bell ends the first round. Into round two we go then. Joe Louis versus the former heavyweight champion, Max Baer. Baer from California originally. Joe Louis, of course, from Detroit, Michigan. Again, that lovely left hand from Joe Louis. Louis, of course, known as the Brown Bomber. And one problem here, I think, Baer is having is he's presenting quite a lot of the target to Joe Louis most of the time at right shoulders quite far forward. Louis, as you can see, is giving a very slim profile here to Baer. And of course the reason the right shoulder is quite far forward is simply because Baer wants to land the right hand. And it's got less distance to travel the further the shoulder is forward. And of course, look at Joe Louis, just closes down the gap with the minimum of effort. And then, of course, unloads with both hands. Supreme fighting machine. You may remember that Max Baer won the title with a 10th round stoppage of Max Schmeling, and then lost at his first defence to Jim Braddock. So there's a cracking finish to round two. To round three we go. So Joe Louis comes out of the corner, goes over virtually to the Baer corner, gets on with his work. As you can see now, all the height advantages that Max Baer may have had is nullifying by crouching down like this. Joe Louis really was an excellent technician, but he did have a reputation as well as being a dirty fighter. Marciano, known for him to put the heel of his glove up to the nose of his opponent, rub the heel of the glove inside their face. Good right hand there for Louis. Well, Maxi Bear now not having a great deal of success in round 3. Louis once again being able to pick him off at long range. Of course, the damaging punches come into play on the inside. Louis, absolute calmness personified here. Oh, Bayer once again under an onslaught of punches. And he's gone down now from a right to the chin. Slow motion fall there from Maxi Bear. We are in round 3. Well, Bear does beat the count. And Louis once again back on the attack here. Thumping left hooks. And a crunching left hook there. Puts Bear on the floor again. Terrific stuff. Now we come then for round 4. Bear on the floor twice in the 3rd round. The first time from a right hand, the second time from 3 tremendous left hooks. So Maxi Bear then trying to protect that chin of his. So Louis, as you can see, with a pretty low slung left hand of his own. Very, very quick to capitalise on any opening. And again, such economy from Joe Louis here. And once again, terrific shots here from Louis. Joe Louis the kind of guy, if you're in range, he'll hit you, and it won't just be once. He loves to feel the weight of his hands on his opponent. Nothing Bear could do to get out of the way of these very, very damaging punches. Hard to know, of course, what Louis' best punch is, the left hook or the right cross, because he's equally good in both departments. Good defensively as well. Again, that left hand smacking into the face of Max Bear. Ooh, he really threw that one with venom. Well, Maxi Bear takes a big right hand again, and he's gone over this time. Well, the big question here, will he beat the count? The count is 7 again. Joe Louis' right hand, an absolute corker. Well, Bear faltered there, took a left hook to help him on his way down. Outstretched his left arm as if to try and keep Louis off him, but the referee picks up the count. And sadly for Bear, he was unable to beat it. So the referee just ensuring that Joe Louis is in a neutral corner. Louis, a very disciplined individual, not only when he comes down to boxing, but also in sportsmanship. Although, as I have said, he did have a reputation for being a fairly dirty fighter at some point. So So the referee then picked the count up at 5 when he made sure Lou was in the neutral corner. Carried on. Maxi Bear couldn't beat it at 10. So Joe Louis then, the winner in 4 rounds of a scheduled 15.
Former heavyweight champion coming back in the role of a challenger for heavyweight honors, Matt Maley. And his very capable opponent, wearing black trunks, 198, one of the greatest heavyweights in the annals of Christiana, Joe Louis. Refereeing Arthur Donovan, thank you.
I know both of you fight good sportsmanship now. We have nothing on that score to show. I want a nice clean contest. You're both acquainted with the rules. I want you to watch your body blows. And don't shake hands after you go to your corner. That's plain. And I insist upon a clean break. And I know that I'm not going to have that trouble here tonight. Now, the best of luck to the both of you, and shake hands now, and tomorrow protecting yourself at that belt.
Wait a minute.
All good? All right, let's go. All right, let's go. Dig in.
And in about 5 seconds, the fight will be on. They're twisting in the corners. There's the bell. And they step out. Both men cautiously sparring around in the center of the ring there. Neither man, Lewis liced out with the left hand, but very light. Now Lewis is in the center of the ring. Snelling is once more sparring and backing steadily away. Now Lewis liced out with a hard left in the face. It landed. They went into a clinch. And Snelling is trying some hard rights and left in close to the body. Now they're back in the center of the ring once more. Lewis left out with a light left there. Now another light left. Snelling tried with the left, but neither one did any damage. Now Lewis in the center of the ring, and Snelling led with a hard left to the face, but Lewis rode the blow and came in with a left of his own. Then Lewis hooked the hard left to the body and missed with the right. He has colored Snelling's eyes just a trifle. And once more, Lewis lashed out with a left hand that caught Snelling, but not hard. Snelling tried with the left, and he came in close in a clinch. They're both trying the 4 light uppercut, but no damage done, and quickly broke at the command of Donovan. Lewis stands in the center of the ring. Snelling is over near my neutral corner here. Snelling tried with the left, and then he came through with a hard right to the body, but Lewis tied him up, and they're in the center of the ring once more. Now Snelling in the center of the ring. Lewis over toward his own corner. Lewis liced up with one of those fast left, and once more Snelling in the center of the ring. Lewis liced out with the left hand, but was short. Snelling tried with the left, and Snelling tried with the right, but was short. Lewis was back out of the way from it. No ducking. He didn't duck, just stepped back and was about an inch away from the punch. Lewis tried with the left hand, but it was short, and Snelling came in under and tried with the left. There are 2 left, but they blocked each other at arm's length. Once more, Lewis in the center of the ring, Snelling over close to the ropes, and they're sparring and weaving both gently. Now Lewis with the left, feinting. No, neither man will leave. Lewis tried, and then at close quarters, he came in with a hard right. The back of Snelling's head was right behind his ears. And there, at the bell. Lewis brought up the hard white uppercut to Snelling's jaw. It healed.
They're back in their corners. It was a cool, cautious round, neither man taking much chance, and very little damage done. The crowd was unusually silent for the first round, tremendously intent on what these two men would do, how they felt each other out. Clem, you saw that round. How did it impress you?
I would say that was very little more than even, slightly in favor of Lewis. He landed the most blows and it seemed a little bit harder, but it was pretty close to an even round.
How was that left of his working, Clem?
It hasn't lashed out yet. He seems only to be fainting with it. But it's a very few words. Jack doesn't say much, and here they step to the center of the ring. And Snelling, looking confident, is and misses. Snelling tries with two lefts that are both short. Lewis tries with a very light left, but overreaches. Snelling tried with a hard left swing, but it was about a fraction of an inch shy. And Lewis came in fast with rights and lefts to Snelling's jaw, but apparently no power behind them because Snelling only just backed away from them. Now Lewis in the center, and Lewis led with another left to Snelling's face. Snelling stepped back, and Lewis came in with another left, and it was short, and a right came over, a right cross, but it was short. Now Snelling came in, and it looked like a clinch for a second, but Lewis backed away. Lewis is depending on that left lead, and he's letting Snelling have it in the face as often as he can. Snelling keeps his left hand up, and is ready to shoot with that right hand, but once more, Lewis gave him a left flush in the face, another left on the left eye. Lewis got over at two lefts in succession to the face, and then a left to the nose. And now, in the center of the ring, Snelling shot his right hand, and it hit Lewis on the jaw, and went off. They thought it was a bell. The referee stepped in to tell them to break, and the crowd's roar was so great, they thought it was a bell. And both fighters stepped back, and Donovan had to bring them to the center of the ring once more. There they stand in the center, and both sparring. Snelling very good-natured, but he's watching Lewis carefully and got that right hand ready. He's going to shoot with everything he's got the moment he gets a chance. Lewis, in the meantime, is pouring left hand hard into Snelling's face, and there he let go with the left hook that didn't do much damage. At close quarters, he let Snelling have one on the jaw, but it was light for that kind of fighter. Now then, in the center of the ring, Lewis is out there once more, and he let Snelling have a left to the face. Just to the left hand of the bell. Snelling was trying to come through with a right to the body, but he pulled the blow.
When they make a mistake unintentionally, in the heat and the fury of this fast fight, they realize that they're sorry and they apologize. I want to tell you a word about the fairness of this crowd. We've got, I suppose, 75,000 people here easily in this great immense Yankee Stadium, but there isn't a trace of that which so many people have been afraid of racial feeling or of anti-Nazism, anything of that kind. These six people here in this Yankee Stadium are realizing that we've got two great athletes. And now the bell and Clem.
They came out slow. Lewis slower than I've ever seen him come. Max is eager. We're going into the seventh round. Snelling is in the center of the ring, and Lewis is backing toward my corner slightly, both feeling each other out and sparring and making feints with left hands, but nothing happens. Well, Snelling shows a disposition to duck and weave, while Lewis is trying with that left hand. There, Snelling shot his right hand, but not much power behind it, and Lewis stepped back. Lewis is now in the center of the ring. Snelling over near my corner. Lewis is crowding Snelling slightly, and there Lewis came in with a fast left hook to the body, landed flush in Snelling's body and made him give ground. Lewis gains confidence every time he gets over one of those left hooks to the body, and it looks to me like Blackburn has finally got it into Lewis's head to keep centering on left hooks to the body to open this fellow up and make him keep back to that right hand. There's another left hook to the body, followed by a right to the jaw, but Snelling took it against the rope, and there Lewis missed with his hard, a right overhand swing as you ever saw. Snelling just did duck under it, and it went over the back of his head, but there Lewis shot in a hard left hook to the body and straightened Snelling up against the rope. Now Lewis got over left to the face and a right to the face, and now he's ducking Max into the rope, and Max is trying to retaliate, but at close quarters, Joe Lewis is showing his mettle, and at this moment he is out fighting Snelling, and there he straightens Snelling up with the left hand. Lewis is in the center of the ring, and they exchange left hands. Snelling is backing toward me. Lewis is ready with his left hand, and there they exchange rights and left, but Snelling covered up with his forearms across his jaw, and Lewis tried with rights and lefts to the face, and this round they really broke clean at the bell. And take a round away from Lewis, and those blows that were low may have cost Lewis that other round. I'm not sure. Donovan did not say whether he had taken the round away from Lewis. You know, in the center of the ring, Snelling is feinting with his left and trying with the right, and while he was at that, Lewis crossed him with a left hand there to the jaw, but it carried no power. Now in the center of the ring, they exchanged rights and lefts. Snelling is in the center. Lewis ducked down and shot in a left to the body, but it carried nothing behind it, and Snelling missed with a left, and then tried with a right, and it landed, but Lewis took it and stepped into a clinch with him, and they're over against the rope. Snelling is very awkward in the clinches, and his left eye looks very bad. His left eye is almost closed, but Lewis, on the other hand, appears a very tired young fighter for a 22-year-old man. They've exchanged left there in the center of the ring, and Lewis is watching for that to shoot over a right hand on that eye. It looks like he might center his attack on it for possibly the next round. And Lewis tries with a left to the face and then misses with a right. Snelling backs away and misses with a left. Snelling is right over me now with his back to me, and Lewis following him up. And Snelling shot a terrific right eye on Lewis's jaw, and it made Lewis rough. And Lewis shot a right hand to Snelling's face. Snelling took it and gave him a right hand back, and Lewis had to give ground. Now at close quarters, they're exchanging lefts and rights. Those were three hard rights that Snelling shot at Lewis there. Lewis is now in the center of the ring, and he shot two lefts at Snelling, and then tried with a right uppercut, but Snelling was well covered up with his forearms right across under his chin, and Lewis couldn't break through. Lewis then shot two lefts to Snelling's jaw, and is ready with a right hand. Snelling tried there with a right, but no power. Lewis tried with a left, but Snelling warded it off, and Lewis tried with another left, and then with a right hand that landed on Snelling's back, and then Lewis came over with two rights to Snelling's jaw. Snelling then is slating Lewis up with a left. Lewis is trying to ride these punches, and Snelling let him have a hard right on the jaw, then a right to the head, but Lewis is taking things. He's either taking them easy or he's a very tired fighter, and they broke at the command of the referee on the bell.
The boys are on their feet, and Clem McCarthy.
And Joe Lewis is doing a lot of listening to Jack Black from the corner. Right now, most of the boys around the edge of the ring have got Snelling credited with 6 rounds, Lewis with 3, and 1 round even. Of course, that counts the 2 rounds that were taken away from Lewis because of foul blows, even if they were even. Lewis then shot a left to Snelling, and it was low, just under his jaw. Snelling shot a hard right overhand that caught Lewis on the side of the jaw. Lewis took it and came right in on his clinch, and Donovan broke them. Now Snelling is in the center of the ring, and Lewis tried with a very weak, wobbly overhand right, one of the poorest blows I've ever seen the man throw. And Snelling then threw a right hand that missed because it was on the back of Lewis's head. Lewis gives every evidence of being a very tired young man here and willing to hold on, and when he finally does break away, he lashes out with a left hand. And contrary to all previous fights, he is not rocking Snelling with any of his left hands. Now then Lewis shot a left hand, and Snelling followed him up, and Snelling tried with the left, but both were short. Once more Lewis with a left hand, then Snelling with a left, and they stepped into a clinch, but at Donovan's request they both broke, although Lewis is very slow and willing to take his time. Lewis has got to try for a knockout because Snelling is in the lead, I believe, this time on point. Snelling then shot a left to Lewis's face. Lewis stepped back and let Snelling have a left in the face. Then Lewis missed with a left, missed with another left, and Snelling missed with a right, and they came into a clinch. At close quarters, did no damage. Now then, Snelling tried with a right uppercut that missed, brought over a left, and in return, Lewis gave him hard right and left to the jaw. But when I say hard rights and left, they're not the old-time hard rights and left that we've seen in Lewis's previous fights. Now Lewis carried the fight to Snelling at this moment, backed him over to this side of the ring, but Snelling came back at him, and at the bell, a fast exchange, but this time they broke at the command of Arthur Donovan. Now in the center of the ring, Lewis standing there and feinting with his left hand. With his right, he is trying to cut off Snelling's left hand, and Snelling shot a hard right to the jaw, but Lewis was inside of it, and it did very little damage. Lewis in the center of the ring, Snelling with his back to me, and Lewis forced into this corner. Snelling dances back. His footwork is very much better than Joe's. Joe's is not only a shuffle tonight, but it's very slow, and very little of it. Now Lewis shot a left, but Snelling stepped inside of it and gave Lewis a left to the jaw and missed with the right. Then they gave each other left hands to the face. No damage done. Now they're sparring once again. And again, Lewis shot in a left hook to Snelling low under the belt. And Donovan cautioned Lewis, and Snelling stepped back, and Donovan had to warn them to go on and fight. And Lewis, bewildered by Donovan's instructions, stepped into Snelling there and let him have hard rights and lefts to the jaw. Snelling is breaking ground over in the other neutral corner. He got a hard left to the face, followed by a terrific right to the jaw. And he stepped into a clinch, and Donovan broke them. Now in the center of the ring, Snelling got over a right to Lewis's jaw. Lewis in return gave Snelling a hard left hand to the face and then a right. And once more Lewis is peppering Snelling's eye, first with left and then with right. And Snelling is stepping into clinches at every opportunity, while Lewis is following him up with good short rights and lefts. And again the referee had to break them. Snelling in the center of the ring, Lewis following him up and lashing out with his left hand every now and then. And there was a hard left to Snelling, but Lewis came back and gave Lewis a terrific right hand to the jaw. Lewis ducked, put up his gloves. Snelling bent low and tried to bring up a right uppercut to straighten him, but he missed and came up on the side of Lewis's head. And then at close quarters, Snelling stepped back and shot a hard right hand to Lewis's jaw that landed flush and made Lewis step into a clinch. Then Donovan broke them. Snelling got over two more hard rights to Lewis's jaw and made Lewis give ground. And there Snelling straightened up Lewis with hard rights and left to the jaw. He has puffed up Lewis's left cheek, and Lewis is down. Lewis is down, hanging to the rope, hanging badly. He is a very tired fighter. He is blinking his eyes, shaking his head. The count is done. The fight is over. The fight is over.
The heavyweight champion of the world, James J. Braddock. His weight, 197 pounds. The challenger from Detroit, Joe Louis. His weight, 197 and a quarter.
Boys, you've been instructed by the Boxing Commission. You know what is expected of you here. Now here's two things that I want you to remember. In case if a man gets knocked down, go to the furthest part of the ring and stay there when the count is on. Don't forget this. And in clinches, when I tell you to break, I want you to break clean and step back. Don't sneak any punches when you're doing it, but protect yourself at all times. The foul rule will be waived. Boys, shake hands and come out fighting. May the best man win. sorry to die.
What's the end of that?
Bright eyed winds, I'll get to the head.
The winner and new champion of the world, Joe Louis.
Feature attraction, 15 rounds for the world's heavyweight championship, weighing 193, wearing purple trunks, outstanding contender for heavyweight honors, the former heavyweight title holder, Max Schmeling.
world is waiting for the result of this enormously publicized heavyweight championship fight. We're moments away from the opening bell. Joe Louis, heavyweight champion of the world, comes out for round one in the dark trunks with the white stripe. Max Schmeling is wearing the all-dark trunks. Since winning the world heavyweight title, Joe has defended it 3 times. In his last defense of the title 10 months ago, Joe KO'd Harry Thomas in the 5th round. Max Schmeling won the heavyweight championship of the world in June of 1930, 8 years ago, from Jack Sharkey. Max was awarded the fight on a foul when he was hit low by a blow thrown by Sharkey. Schmeling lost a close, tough 15-round decision to Sharkey and lost the world heavyweight title 2 years later. Max is attempting to become the first former heavyweight champion ever to regain the precious title. 6 other champions have tried and failed. Champion Joe Louis wants this victory desperately. Joe is deadly serious in there. An explosive right to the jaw hurts Max Schmeling. Joe Louis all over Max Schmeling here in round 1. Ripping punches to the head. Joe steps back. A dynamite right to the jaw, and Schmeling goes down here in the 1st round. Max is up at the count of 2. Louis moves in. Ripping punches by the Brown Bomber sends Schmeling down again. A crushing right explodes off Schmeling's jaw, and Max goes down for the 3rd time. It doesn't look like Schmeling's going to make it. It's all over. Joe Louis electrifies the boxing world with his magnificent 1st round devastating knockout over Max Schmeling. In slow motion, let's watch those 3 knockdowns once again. It's all Joe now. The Brown Bomber raining punches off Max Schmeling's jaw. Max starts to sink to the canvas. Joe wants to finish it here in round 1. An explosive right sends Schmeling to the canvas for the 1st time. Max rolls over and is up at the count of 2. Another right to the jaw, and Schmeling is in desperate trouble. Max goes down for the 2nd time. Now it's Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, at his dynamite best. A right to the body. Another jolting right, and Max goes down for the 3rd and last time.
The winner and still champion,
slow motion, you see the third straight knockdown that Joe Walcott has scored over Joe Louis in their 2 fights. All 3 were right-hand punches.
Well, I'd like to say again that I retired. Tonight was my last fight. And thank you very much.
We're in the 6th round of the 15-round heavyweight championship fight. Madison Square Garden. That left hand of Ezzard Charles particularly effective against Leoma. Charles has been shifting his attack from body to head and back to body again. That straight left to the head then by Ezzard Charles. They're separated by Ruby Goldstein. Ezzard Charles, the world's heavyweight champion, looking fit, full of fight. And the challenger, Leoma, beginning to show the effects of weariness and perhaps the age, 34. He starts to walk away from Charles, and Charles doesn't let him. Leoma now shows signs of arm weariness. He's keeping his guard very, very low. Let's see what Charles does about that. That's the end of the round. For round 9, Ezzard Charles in the white trunks, Lee Omer in the black. 6 rounds remain in this fight for the heavyweight crown. So far, it appears to have been Charles' fight virtually all the way. Charles won the 7th round, but the 8th round was taken away from Charles for a low blow. This is round 9. Lee Omer fighting back. Ezzard Charles, the aggressor, virtually all the way. Ezzard Charles beating Lee Omer to the punch. Charles looks much the stronger now. Omer driving in, connects, and then Charles holds on. A good brief flurry by Lee Omer. See if he can follow it up. He tries. Straight left hand by Omer. Omer has come back nicely in this 9th round. Lee Omer outweighs Ezzard Charles by 8 pounds. Ezzard Charles keeps coming right after Lee Omer. Charles defending his world's heavyweight crown. Closing moments of this 9th round, Ezzard Charles comes back to black trunks out of his corner. Charles pacing himself very well. He's ahead, definitely. The challenger has taken most of the punishment thus far, by far. Ezzard Charles keeps hammering away at Lee Omer. Omer now being forced to hold on, and referee Ruby Goldstein separates the two. A terrific right hand. Omer sent back. Charles going after him with another terrific right. Lee Omer seems to be in trouble. Charles keeps right after him. Ezzard Charles with wicked lefts and rights. Another left hand, and another, and another. And Omer cannot seem to be able to defend himself. We switch to slow motion now to watch the drama. Omer seems to be on his way out. Ezzard Charles going after him. Lee Omer game, but tiring badly, and he's a wide open target. A left to the stomach and a left to the head. Ezzard Charles throwing punches almost at random now. Almost defenseless is Lee Omer. Still on his feet, still fighting back, holding on now. Trying to slow down Ezzard Charles. Another wicked left and another left. Omer goes reeling, and it looks as though referee Ruby Goldstein has stopped the fight. He has. Omer staggers dazedly to his corner, apparently surprised by the suddenness of the finish. Lee argues with the ring official, but he's clearly taken far too many smashes on the chin to be able to continue. Dr. Vincent Naudiello, New York's ringside physician, coming through the ropes to examine the fighter from Buffalo. Omer is declared to be okay. He just ran out of steam, he says. At 34 years of age, he just couldn't keep up the pace.
Tonight's blue ribbon bout, the 15-round World's Heavyweight Championship between Ezzard Charles, the Cincinnati Cobra, the current NBA heavyweight champion, and Joe Louis, the Detroit Brown Bomber, the undefeated former heavyweight champion of the world. And it's just before ring time. So let's look in the ring and see exactly what's doing. Tonight, it's the big question of the battle of the ifs. And the big if tonight seems to be divided in 2 parts. 2 big questions will be answered in just a few minutes when Joe Louis, Detroit's Brown Bomber, who gave up the heavyweight championship undefeated 18 months ago, faces Ezzard Charles, National Boxing Association kingpin, for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Now the questions are, can the great Louis come back at the age of 36, over 2 years since his great last title effort? And just how good is Ezzard Charles? This bout marks the first in New York for the heavyweight title since Louis knocked out Jersey Joe Walcott in 11 rounds on June 25th, 1948, here at Yankee Stadium. Lewis, with that fight, I think, established himself as perhaps the greatest of all champions. For the record book shows that it was the 25th defense of the coveted crown that he won from Jim Braddock back in 1937 in Chicago. And he defended his crown, as you know, 15 times more than Jack Johnson, 19 more than Jack Dempsey, and 21 times more than Jim Jeffries. And great champions like John L. Sullivan, Jim Corbett, and Bob Fitzsimmons defended their crowns, once were, then dethroned. By the way, the action in the ring right now, as you see, is the midget who has come into the ring. And as he's in there, wandering across, the boys are saying, throw him out, throw him out. So the excitement, of course, is always attendant upon one of these great little pieces of side play, and of course, there the bow.
Introducing from Cincinnati, Ohio, wearing black trunks, weighing 184.5 pounds, Ezzard Charles. His opponent from Detroit, Michigan, wearing purple trunks, weighing 218, Joe Louis. 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Now, as you look at the center of the ring, there's the usual huddle as Joe Louis and his managers and trainers
Louis and Charles, both
take their orders from Walcott.
Familiar with the rules of this state, and I'm here to see that you box according to those rules. Be careful of your body blows. A low blow may cost you the round. If you score a knockdown, go to the corner to which I send you and stay there until I tell you to come out and resume fighting. In close, I want you to punch with both hands free. When I see you clinch in there, I'm going to tell you to stop punching, and I want you both to stop punching on the break and step back clean. Now shake hands and good luck to both of you.
Well, you know, officially a championship bout with no champion in it is what you're looking at tonight. The winner, however, will be recognized in New York and by the NBA as the world champion. You're going to see the famous Joe Louis in his famous fighting style, and an Ezzard Charles, who is a cobra and a striking puncher with hand always held high. There's a different Louis. He's not out to counterpunch, he's out to end it. 36 years of age, his opponent 29. Louis with his back to you. Ezzard Charles, easily identifiable with the stripe, the white stripe down his trunks. To go of the first round, and there's excitement and action. A goodly crowd here tonight, and you can hear them in our Pabst Blue Ribbon microphone. This is a Louis who constantly stalks, as you know. Charles has Joe's nose just slightly colored, but Joe is in there to punch. 33 pounds difference in favor of Louis. 218 to 184.5. Notice how Charles keeps that right high up to his chin to shoot it out in case he has to. Crafty, agile, excellent boxer. 1 minute to go, first round. Joe tried for the punch that time. may talk about Lewis's reflexes being slow, but his punch is still there. Half a minute to go of the first round. Although Charles is considered rather light for a heavyweight at his weight of 184.5. Remember that Bob Fitzsimmons weighed 156.5 for his championship fight with Jim Corbett back in 1897. Now, as we follow Lewis back to his corner, the crowd roared for the exciting action of the first round. Joe Louis, as you know, and perhaps you don't, so I'll remind you, has fought 61 bouts in his career. This is his 62nd. He has never fought a preliminary. He won 60 of those fights, lost only one. That was the knockout to Max Schmeling. Knocked out 52 of his opponents. Never fought a draw. Now let's go over and take a look at Ezzard Charles. Ezzard Charles, at 184.5, has fought 73 fights. He's won 67 of them. He's lost 5. He drew 1. He was knocked out but once in his life, as was Joe Louis. And he KO'd 43 of his opponents. Now there's the 10-second warning whistle. Round 2. And we'll see what's going to happen. Comments around here indicate they're all waiting to see what's going to happen. Both with those beautiful lefts. One off a counter by Charles, which is unusual. And now they're punching. Sentimental crowd with Joe Louis and delighted that he is forcing fighting rather than waiting for the counter punching. And Charles hitting. I think the exciting comment is that Ezzard Charles does not seem the least bit frightened of Joe Louis's great prowess. Well, there's the first of the combinations that worked, and Louis landed that right hand with 2 minutes to go of round 2. Louis seems much younger than his 36 years the way he's going in these first 2 rounds. I don't know what his plan of action is, but it certainly has proven that he wants to get out and end it as fast as he can. Many years ago in the Billy Conn fight, Louis said, "I'll box him and then knock him out." He's boxing Ezzard Charles tonight. They are punching each other, and the blows are telling and they're landing. One minute to go of the second round. And the crowd likes this one because this is really a good fight. Charles hasn't changed his style. He's beating Louis a bit to the punches. Half a minute to go of the second round, and most everyone is now on the edge of their seats. They didn't quite expect it to be this good so early. They're talking up around the ringside. The comments are all indicating exactly as we're passing it on to you. The round is almost over. And there it is, the bell ending round. You know, as an amateur, Joe Louis won 54 bouts, 43 by knockouts. Charles was never beaten in the amateur ranks. He won every tournament he ever entered, about 12 in all. Here we go, round 3. Louis imperturbable. Charles exactly the same, but always willing to lead. Despite the craftiness and the agile and the fluency, or the agility and the fluency, Charles is constantly wary of the devastating power of the Joe Louis punch. These excellent pictures show you that Charles is able to reach Joe, and Joe is looking for that tag. 2 minutes to go, round 3. There it is, and almost slipped by Charles that time, and the crowd saw it, but Joe delayed. Superb fighting machine that has been Joe Louis is superb again tonight. Charles slowing just a bit now in his actions. Remember that no heavyweight champion has ever regained his title, although in this case Joe Louis gave it away, didn't lose it in the ring. Yet no heavyweight champion has ever won it back again. Charles is matching them with him now. One minute to go. Round 3. Joe's face is just a bit redder than it was when he came into the ring from those left hooks that flick out and land and the rights that cross over. But Joe dramatically always moving in, always moving in. Excellent to see them not clinching, always breaking their own clinches. Half a minute to go, the third round. Joe Louis, Ezzard Charles, and Pap's mighty happy to bring you all the action so that you can see it. Charles is willing to vary his leads, left or right as the case may be. He loves to hit with that right. There's the end of round 3. And you know something? Well, this broadcast tonight is making great history. Never before has an event been heard or seen by so many people. Not only here in America, but right around the globe. It's being shortwaved to Australia and New Zealand, 10,000 miles away, to Latin America and Little America, and to our armed forces wherever they may be. Well, we're ready to go into action in round 4. Most fans consider Joe Louis' KO of Max Schmeling in 2:04 of the first round the quickest in a heavyweight championship bout. But that's not so. Back in 1908, a bout was ended in a neat 1:28 by Australian Tommy Burns. Well, the pattern of the fight hasn't changed. Louis, 33.5 pounds heavier, 7 years older. Cincinnati Cobra keeps moving in at him. There's Louis, out with the left, then the right, in case you missed it. And the crowd roared, for Louis struck out like the Cobra that Charles is reputed to be. 2 minutes to go, the fourth round. Startled but not hurt, Charles maintains his poise. Joe's always looking for that opening. Most of the fight experts felt that Charles would cut Joe Louis, but there are no marks on either fighter. That's the first indication that Charles was backing up and backing up cautiously. One minute to go of the fourth round. There's Joe Louis striking out now. The crowd groans when Joe holds back with an opening, quite apparent to everyone. It's a different Joe Louis, missing 3 blows in a row. Half a minute to go of the fourth round. Joe looks more severe than I've seen him in the whole fight. His reflexes worked. See him dance away that time on the feint? Charles perceptibly seems tired. That is, tired of taking a punishment. The round's almost over. You'll hear Joe Bannon ring the bell. And that ends the fourth round of the heavyweight championship bout, which has startled the imagination of all who are here, as we have gone 4 rounds now and await the bell and the whistle for the 5th. Here in Yankee Stadium, we've got the usual buzzing excitement that attends a World's Championship boxing bout. As I told you earlier, the celebrities are here in great numbers, and they include the familiar names of people who are always at sporting exhibitions of this sort. The great names of the newspaper world, swelled by a great number who are in the East for the forthcoming World Series, and all by plenty who are convention-bound in the great metropolis. I remind you that Joe Louis weighed in today at 218, the heaviest he's ever been for a heavyweight championship bout. And Ezzard Charles tipped the scales at 184.5, giving Joe Louis a weight advantage of 33.5 pounds. Although he is spotting, as I've told you, his rival exactly 7 years in youth. So far, the rounds have seemed to distribute themselves. We have the Ezzard Charles striking out, willing to match with Joe Louis. The Joe Louis stalking and not trudging backwards, but always stalking, always stalking. Round 5. Charles always seems stronger in the first minute and a half of any round. And something seems to set him back so that he can look Joe over to see perhaps what damage he's done, if any. And there he is. Throwing those blows. And he's connecting with Joe, but not too cleanly. He hasn't got the solid punch that we know Joe has, or had. But he mixes. Well, you can put the seal of approval on this bout so far, just as you'd like to put that Pabst Blue Ribbon seal right in front of you on the table. Yes, sir. 2 minutes to go in round number 5. Ezzard Charles with the lighter stripe down his trunks. Now, as we notice, the round is half over, and Charles begins to slow down. Now, whether he's looking to see what's going on or what to do about his patterns, I don't know. But Louis has his combinations working when they're working, and he's willing to set them in. Charles has been striking the cleaner blows this round, and Lewis's have been glancing. Neither boy is marked. With 1 minute to go of round 5. The big thing I'm looking for is to see whether Louis slows down, whether he gets down off his heels and stays down, even in that famous plodding style. The first indication that age may be taking its toll. Louis waiting to get in, but Charles still flailing away. Half a minute to go of round 5. Undeniably, both superbly set up, in perfect conditioning and with the proper equipment for boxing. Louis continues to stalk. The round is almost over. And Joe almost connected just as round 5 ended. Round 6 is now about to come up. Might tell you that Jim Jeffries came out of 5 years retirement a long while ago to meet Jack Johnson at Reno in 1910. He was age 35 and Johnson knocked him out. Here we have Lewis out of retirement, fighting the NBA heavyweight champion, Joe Louis, the undefeated former heavyweight champion of the world, trying to do what no man before him has done, win back his title. And now he's aggressive, as he's meeting a very aggressive, lighter opponent. The pattern has changed a bit now. Now in close, I see that Lewis is beginning to develop a mouse under his left eye. Yes, there it is, quite apparent. No obvious markings on Charles. 2 minutes to go in the 6th round. Joe's beginning to breathe a bit now. Close here at the ringside, we can see that. Now, Mark Kahn, constantly staying out of the way, has very little to do as the third man in the ring. Both these boys, superbly clean fighters. The pattern has changed enough so that we see a mauling round now instead of the long-distance clean fighting. And amazingly, Charles is willing to stay in with Joe Louis. Now, let's see. Louis, I think, has perceptibly slowed down, but Charles has in a sense, too. 1 minute ago of the 6th round of the heavyweight championship bout here at Yankee Stadium in New York City. Brought to you with the good wishes of Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. Yowza, yowza. Well, here they are right over our microphone, and the exchanges are terrifying. Joe's willing to strike, but he's missing. And the lighter opponent wrestled him away that time. Half a minute to go of the 6th round, and Charles is dropping his right hand, which normally he keeps very high as protection. That may be an indication. Joe's noticed it. Round is almost over. Well, here we've definitely seen something tonight. We see one pattern in which a lighter opponent has been striking out with the best force possible, tried to, in the best essence of his Cobra style, cut up Joe Louis, aging as he is, and to slow his reflexes down to the very lowest point. On the other hand, Joe Louis, having started the fight with an aggressive amount of boxing ability, trying to get to his lighter opponent to score that punch which will slow him down. Charles, as you recognize, has been spinning Louis beautifully when in trouble. And despite the fact that he slows down, as I have witnessed in the 1 minute and a half after the round begins, he has nevertheless been able to watch everything that Joe Louis has been doing. Here we go for round 7. One other observation. I noticed that Louis didn't like the feel of the ice pack on his eye. And now you see Charles is striking for that eye. There's the pattern for this round. There he goes, hitting him there constantly. And Lewis's eye is beginning to develop a tremendous closing. It's almost an aperture now, slit. So we always have the spectacle of the Louis that we knew with that tremendous right, and there he threw it, and the constant application of good blows with craftiness and agility and fluency by Ezzard Charles. 2 minutes to go in the 7th round of the heavyweight championship out here at Yankee Stadium in New York. And a goodly crowd on hand and giving generous applause to all the exchanges. Picture reveals now the boys are going into the milling style, for the round, you see, is almost half over. And Charles willingly steps away to watch what Joe Louis will do. Joe, for a second there, had Charles in trouble, but Charles weaves out of it. I think Charles has developed a mouse under his left eye, too. So they both have slightly closing left eyes. So they'll both be fighting with one eye. So it's right hand, hitting to right hand. 1 minute to go in the 7th round. And we come to the slowing process. The man, 36. But yet with the punch. The youth with 29 and yet being slowed down by punches. Charles still keeps hitting with that right. Of course, what Louis wants is Charles to come in close as he slows him down. Half a minute to go, and the crowd anticipated that was it, but Joe missed both shots. Joe keeps Charles in close. Well, what the two questions were, can the old man of 36, and I use the word old advisedly, and how good is Ezzard Charles? The question is being answered almost halfway through the fight. Round 7 is almost over. As the fight goes on, the excitement of the crowd becomes, I think, more dramatic in this respect, that they're just watching, constantly watching, to see whether Joe is going to slow down Ezzard Charles and get to him, or whether Ezzard Charles will be able to close Joe's eyes and keep flicking away at him. So far, it's been the perfect fight. There's Charles with that speed, the rapier stuff, in the first minute and a half of each round. He has excellent recuperative powers in between the rounds, and it keeps him moving for at least a minute and a half. There's Joe. Now counterpunching. Joe is a little at a disadvantage with that left eye, continuing to close, so the lefts have got to be thrown with a little speculation. And so, for that matter, is Ezzard Charles. Not quite as apparent to the camera as it is to us at the ringside. Two minutes to go of the 8th round of this 15-round heavyweight championship bout here at the Yankee Stadium in New York. Charles continues to pummel away in that first minute and a half, always keeping Joe at a disadvantage, and then suddenly Joe seems to have the weight to put into Charles. So far, he hasn't leaned that weight on Charles during the fight. Here they are right over our Pabst Blue Ribbon microphone. Charles has been fighting with a greater severity and a greater amount of punching ability in this round than he has in any previous round, so perhaps that remark I made about his recuperative powers stands in good stead. One minute remains of round 8, and Joe Louis is beginning to slow down a little bit as Charles keeps punching away, and he's brought a slight touch, I think, of a fatigued look to Joe's face, and just the slightest touch of claret to his nose. So the Cincinnati Cobra is fighting for the face, fighting as he planned to fight, to cut Joe Louis up and slow him down on account of his years. And so perhaps we're seeing in this half-minute remaining of the 8th round the best of the ability of Ezzard Charles, which may answer one of the questions. How good is he? The other one has yet to be answered. Can Joe come back? Round is almost over, and Joe keeps stalking as he does, right up to the bell. Shooting the short ones inside now, and may have a telling effect on Ezzard Charles, who evidently senses the round is at an end. Well, now, as we tabulate at the ringside, it's just a question of how the boys see it, where they sit, and what they feel. And certainly, I think the whole fight is predicated on what everybody else has known and read. Just the two questions that have to be answered, and both have to be answered at the same time. Round 9. Charles up on his toes. Joe Louis back down on his heels now. Joe Louis superbly conditioned. He had to be for this kind of a fight. The two right hands that Charles put in were the toughest two of the fight. Joe just remained erect. The two hardest, of course, by Charles. Joe put one in early in the second round, you'll remember. But he's scoring his punches at will now in the first minute and a half of this big round. 2 minutes to go in this round. Charles scoring with telling punches. Joe watching, never closing his eyes when the punch comes at him. One of the great attributes to his fighting ability. Joe is now bleeding and suddenly had a look of that tired feeling on his face. Perhaps just remarshaling his forces. But the fight is now going to the pattern the experts declared would be. Now the punches are coming at will as Charles watches to see what he can do with Louis and punches to prove it. The greatest of the great champions with his record in the record book and the youthful aspirant to the undisputed world heavyweight crown. 1 minute to go this round. There he is, Joe Louis at 36, Ezzard Charles at 29 years of age. Bob Fitzsimmons was 37 years old when in his first title defense he was knocked out by Jim Jeffries. Fitz, however, was 52 years old when he fought his last battle back in 1914. So we'll bring the age question to you as Charles keeps pouring it in. Starting to mangle Joe Louis's face now. And Joe Louis has brought a tremendous rush of claret from the nose of Ezzard Charles. He got one in close there. It was a left uppercut. The round is almost over, some 15 seconds to go. And that was Joe Louis getting in one of his telling punches. Charles wiping the blood away. It was a beautiful left just a moment ago. The round is almost over. And there you had Joe Louis taking a copious beating throughout the round, number 9, from Ezzard Charles, and then suddenly in the last 25 seconds, scoring with a delightful inside left uppercut with a tremendous amount of telling impact, slowing up Ezzard Charles as the blow landed heavily and did damage to Charles's nose, which is now, of course, being treated by that capable trainer, Ray Arcel, who, as you look at the ring at this particular moment, is in there working on the left of your camera as you see the back of Ezzard Charles' head. And they'll let Ray Arcel do all the work. Well, there you have the spectacle again of the NBA heavyweight champion, always striking out in the first minute and a half, and then Joe Louis suddenly springing into action. And now the comments around the ringside as my ears listen are, it's not the same Joe. Well, of course, at 36 with reflexes slowing down, it still may be the same Joe. He's fought fights like this before, and suddenly when he found that opening, shot those devastating blows. Round 10 coming up. Well, with 2/3 of the fight almost gone by and both boys needing refreshments, I would presume that as I do, I would always enjoy that Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. How about you? The claret has come quickly again from Charles's nose. It's his right nostril, and Joe keeps banging away with that left. Now you have Ezzard Charles leashing and lashing. How much effect a bleeding nose will have on a fighter, I don't know. It's an annoyance, undeniably, and causes motions with the hands which should be held. So it may be that the bridge of that nose has been badly damaged. It appears that way. Joe is working on him, and Joe with the counter that time almost caught him. 2 minutes to go of the 10th round. And if anything, Joe seems to be stronger now with the advantage of having hurt his opponent. So both, because their heads are banging together, are covered with just a bit of blood. Joe is now stalking. The sight of the blood has enraged him. The crowd senses that he's after him, and that's why you hear the roar in the background. The cameras go up. Charles backing away. Joe goes in. Left eye closed, the nostril breathing. That's why he's backing up. Joe is after him. Joe Louis now stalking his prey. Waiting to work those combinations off the left. In close then, the camera couldn't reveal it. A terrific short right. It landed on the button of Ezzard Charles, and he's bleeding more profusely. Joe's best round now, and the crowd roaring with it. 1 minute to go of the 10th round. Knees buckling slightly. Ezzard Charles back against the ropes that time. Joe constantly looking for that opening. This is the drama. This is where what you see tells you what you want to see. Charles beautifully spinning Joe Louis around when in trouble. Half a minute to go, the 10th round. Joe Louis showing his best. Almost 30 minutes after the fight began. So the question of 36 years of age seems to be disproven at this moment. Charles lashing back as best he can, and yet showing that agility and flexibility and the fluency as the round is almost over. And they'll have to work on him, and work on him hard in his corner. Here's the bell. To round 11. Like all crowds, what's gone before means nothing in the memory of what Joe did in that last round. And Charles fights back. He's certainly a match for Joe tonight. No matter the outcome, he's giving Joe a good battle. There's something that may be an indication of the end. As Joe put in a powerful punch to the body, he took 2 or 3 counter punches, 2 rights that were sort of loosely set to the head, so that Ezzard Charles was not disturbed and was willing to flail back. The left uppercut that time by Charles slowed Joe down. 2 minutes to go in the 11th round in what has been a good fight. And that's not giving expletives away either. Well, the crowd certainly has been roaring its approval, just as you'll approve Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Now the minute and a half of the round has gone by, and we'll have to see whether or not this is where Charles will step backwards and allow Joe to come to him. Joe will lead and Joe will counter, and this is an unusual procedure. Joe's best weapon is left hook. Ezzard Charles, that best weapon being a left but a following straight right, whistling for the jaw. Those who have missed this fight, I think, have missed something. 1 minute to go of the 11th round. And the procedure remains the same. Procedural-wise, Charles lets it slow down. Gets to his corner and takes that recuperation. Joe's eye, his left eye, is almost closed. In fact, it is, you might as well say. He has a difficult time opening it. Ezzard Charles' left eye is also closed. Now the blood is not flowing as it was earlier. Isn't it wonderful, in a sense, to realize that a man 33 pounds less will spin the heavyweight champion around on occasions? Condition is certainly something of a great asset here because you see Charles lashing back now after the damage of the last round. And this round is almost at an end. It'll be the 11th round, the end of it. And much to talk about and much to figure. We'll wait for the bell. Well, there it is, the bell ending the 11th round. 12th round is now coming up. The whistle is sounded. Joe Louis looks a little bit, perturbed in his corner. Here he comes out against Ezzard Charles. This is the slowest of the first few seconds action of any round. There's Charles starting his leads now. That's the first round I've seen him go to work at the body. Both boys completely blinded in their left eyes. Attesting to the punching power of both. Both will keep punching away at those eyes. Well, there's the cleanest shot of the fight you've seen with Joe's head snapping back, a long right-hander. Joe is perceptibly slowing down, but still he has that powerful punch. 2 minutes to go in this round. Round 12 of a 15-rounder for the heavyweight championship of the world. And your host, Pabst Blue Ribbon, mighty happy to bring you this blue ribbon bout. Mighty happy. Well, the action has slowed down a bit, but certainly the stirring quality of the fight hasn't. This is the slowest of the action rounds so far that we have seen. And as I've said, it's a credit to the superbly conditioned Charles because he's weathered the blows and he's still willing to mix it in there with a dangerous puncher like Joe Louis, who himself is in superb fighting condition. So their equipment is exactly the same and the damage is exactly the same. 1 minute to go of the 12th round. And so far, I would presume the slowest round of the fight. And it should be from the pace these boys have kept. Joe looking for the opening, looking for the opening. Every now and then, seeing it, I think. We're looking to see exactly what damage is being done so that we can pass it on to you. This is a round where both boys, I think, are cautious and wary, looking for the spurt to the finish. A half a minute to go of round 12. And so far, a fight both boys can be very well proud of. Patterns change again. Louis willing to lead if he can get close. Both eyes, both fighters, the left eye is completely closed. Inside the 10-second set two now. Charles striking out, scores heavily. And there's the bell, ending the 12th round. And Joe Louis goes back to his corner, much more tired than I've seen him before, and Ezzard Charles going back to his corner, superbly conditioned as he is, evidently in good possession of all faculties as he awaits round 13. Now there's a whirl of excitement around the ringside from the press. As they look around, how do you make it? That's the answer. What do you think? Will it wind up the way we think it will? What have you got it marked on your card? So we'll look ahead to round 13, and here they go. Charles again back in the original pattern, despite the fact that his nose always draws claret from Joe's left. He's out springing around to start the round. Throughout the fight, I think the indication that Charles is willing to mix it with Joe has been one of the astounding features. Joe always willing to move in. Now the drama represents itself again. How well can Ezzard Charles fight? Well, that's been proven up to this point. The question now, the other half remains, can Joe come back? 2 minutes to go of the 13th round. The round with the hard luck number. Both boys are slipping on their punches. They're not hitting as heavily as before, and yet they're punting. Senses that Joe wants it, but the round is almost over. 1 minute to go. And now we're beginning to see the plodding cannonading. Half a minute to go. 13th round. There's the end of the round. Round 13, the crowd liked that one. Well, 13 rounds have gone by and but 2 remain. And so far, both men have had exactly the same damage. Both left eyes completely closed, both noses bleeding, both scoring with telling, whistling rights, both willing to mix it. Charles always slowing down a bit as the round comes to its conclusion. Joe constantly stalking, looking for that big one powerful punch to regain his heavyweight championship, which he gave up when he retired. Charles willing to prove that he is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Round 14. Retaliatory measures now. Joe Louis is bleeding rather profusely from his nostrils. It's a milling fight now, if the word milling can be used. 2 minutes to go of the 14th round. Joe back up on that one. His eyes went slightly glazy on that one, as if he were tired. Joe is tired against the ropes. He looks as if that eye is paining him, and it is. It's completely closed, has been for quite some time. But instinctively, Joe fights. Right now, this is Charles' best opportunity, so watch it. One minute to go of the 14th round. Comment around the ringside is, "Stay away, Joe. Stay away, Joe." Now, I guess you know the dramatic quality of that. Half a minute to go, the 14th round. The Cincinnati Cobra, still springy. Joe plodding. Well, there's the bell ending round 14, and both blows were struck after the bell. Joe Louis with a right, and a retaliatory right from Ezzard Charles. Well, the next round is the big round. That's the one that tells the fight. And I don't know how you've scored it. We have it scored. And scored just well enough to have a pretty good indication of which way it's going. And the next round is definitely going to be the round. Undeniably that. And there you saw the specter of Joe Louis, another of the men who might not be able to come back. Certainly in that round, Cincinnati Ezzard Charles took a good lead, a commanding lead, and sprung into action, striking telling blows that caused Joe to remain against the ropes on the far side of the ring and show perceptibly that age has taken its toll. Whether or not he still has the power for one damaging punch is what the 15th round will reveal. And that's up to you to judge. We here at the ringside know the comments and know our reaction. And here's Joe Louis for the 15th round as they shake hands, Mark Kahn separating them. In a similar situation, Walcott once did a very damaging thing when he lost the disputed decision. But here it is, Ezzard Charles fighting. Superbly conditioned, having taken the best of Joe Louis's blows, Ezzard Charles still on his feet, driving. Louis realizing, fighting with the great instinct of a champion. And that is not a cliche. 2 minutes to go. Final round. 15th and final round of the heavyweight championship bout here at Yankee Stadium in New York City. The seconds tick into history. Very telling right hand by Charles that time. The round half over. And a good crowd here at Yankee Stadium sitting in on what has been an excellent bout. Willing to wrap up a fight because he thinks he has it won. Joe Louis ready to slip behind with 50 seconds to go. Intense drama. Charles constantly flecking away, striking heavy blows at Joe Louis. Half minute to go of the fight. Seconds to go, and Charles still belting away. The fight's gone all the way, and an era ends as the bell sounds and the crowd roars its great approval. And now we're going to step into the ring for the simulcast with radio and television. So watch, and we'll pass the information. ringside waiting, of course, for the official notation as far as the fight is concerned, as we wait for the cards from the judges Frankie Forbes and Joe Agnello and referee Mark Kahn. Standing as we are on the apron at the moment, we'll just be waiting for Johnny Addy to announce it, and then we'd like to interview those who have been the participants in the fight, including Marshall Miles, the manager of Joe Louis, and Jakey Mintz, the manager of Ezzard Charles. Should at this particular moment Ezzard Charles win the fight, it will be the first time that Ray Arcel has been in the corner of a winner. He's been in the corners of 10 men who have fought 11 fights against Joe Louis, and all of them, in a sense, were fractured. Tonight, of course, up at 12, it may be that Ray Arcel will pull it. Jimmy Cannon of the New York Post, now in Korea, covering hostilities, once remarked, Joe Louis is a credit to his race.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Joe Agnello scores it 12-3, favor of Charles. Judge Frank Forbes scores it 13-2, favor of Charles. Referee Mark Kahn, 10-5, favor of Charles. Winner by unanimous decision and heavyweight champion of the world, Ezzard Charles.
And now greetings to the radio audience. Joe, before you go, Joe, for an old friend, Joe Louis is going out of the ring, and I haven't been able to get him. So we'll talk to Ezzard Charles. I thought I could get Joe. We've been friends all through his fighting career. Ezzard, and Johnny Addy's holding his hands up. Well, Ray, you finally did it. Hiya, Chris. Ezzard, I'd like you to look the way you're talking. Ezzard, I'm Ted Husing. How are you tonight now?
Thank you. I feel very well, thank you.
Well, you fought a magnificent fight, undeniably, and you were superbly conditioned, weren't you?
Well, thank you. And I'd like to give thanks to the fellows who worked with me and got me in shape for the fight and who made it possible for me to have the fight. And I'd like to express my thoughts, rather. I'd like to give thanks to God for giving me strength and courage enough to win the fight. And since I won the championship, I feel very proud about it. And I'll try and do my best to keep it as clean as the previous fellow who just stepped down, Joe Louis. I'll try to be as much of a credit to it as he was.
Now, time for the big fight. First to enter the ring is the champion from Cincinnati, Ohio, Ezzard Charles. Then the challenger from Merchantville, New Jersey, Joe Walcott, followed by manager Felix Bocchicchio. Joe claims he's 37 years old. More than 28,000 fans have paid a whopping $245,000 tonight to see this championship bout and to cheer their hero, either Walcott or Charles. The fighters meet at the center of the ring for last-minute instructions from referee Buck McTiernan. And in a moment, round one. Charles, the heavy favorite in dark trunks, going for his 73rd triumph, his 46th by knockout. In 78 outings, he lost only 5 and drew 1. Walcott has won 47 of his 65 fights, 29 by KO. Walcott is probably a better hitter than Charles, but Charles, up till now, has had all the right moves when fighting Jersey Joe. At his peak, Charles was one of the best defensive fighters of the era. Walcott about to try a right to the head. That was a glancing blow, but you could see the power he generates with that punch. Joe ducks into a crouch. You see him feint with his right, only to catch a right to the body by Charles. Moments before the bell ending round one, an even round with neither man hurt. Charles about to try a long left to the face, but Walcott pulls away. Watch him return a right to the body before the champion ties him up. More proof of Walcott's agility. As Charles tries a right, Joe shuffles back out of range. Walcott shuffles, hitches, then again throws that left to the body. That's the second time he's used that maneuver here in round three. See what happens when they break? They'll feint each other, looking for an opening. They'll find it, too. You'll see Jersey Joe land a right to the jaw, and Charles comes back with his right, then a left, in the best slugging match of the fight so far. A stiff left jab by Walcott. And Charles counters with his jab. Both men are old pros in the ring. This is their third meeting, remember, and they know each other's moves. Watch Joe try a sneak right uppercut. Charles, well protected. You'll see Walcott try a right that goes over Charles' left shoulder. Ezzard about to dig back to the body at short range. But again, Walcott ties him up. Under Bochicchio's guidance, Walcott emerged as the leading contender for the crown. And now here he is, growing stronger as Charles grows weaker. Another Cinderella man of the ring, taking charge of the favored champion here in round four. Here comes a wide right by Walcott. Charles picked it off and fired a counter right in the closing moments of round four. Definitely a round for Walcott. Walcott about to fire a right. Charles flurries, but Walcott ties him up. You'll see Charles try a right, but Walcott was backing away. Ezzard is best known as a defensive fighter. Watch him throughout this round, and you'll find him smothering Walcott's punches at short range. Walcott about to land a smashing right to the jaw. The best punch of the fight so far. It shook up the champion. Charles glances a right off Walcott's jaw, then follows through with a long-range left that snaps the challenger's head back. But he was moving away with the blow and seems unhurt. Walcott moves in with a left to the body, a right to the head. But Charles was moving away. Now, if you keep watching, you'll see Jersey Joe try a left hook at close range. Watch Walcott stagger Charles with a right to the jaw. Charles retaliates with a low right, a blow hidden from the referee. Now watch. A left right by Walcott will draw a counter left from Charles. Charles tries a right to the body. It was partially blocked by Walcott. Now watch Joe come in with a left to the body, a right to the jaw. There's Walcott pounding his gloves together again, a sure sign that he's contemplating a surprise punch. A left. It was a good hook to the jaw. Charles has been failing to connect at short range, but he's quite successful at smothering his opponent's punches in close. You see? The defensive. That's Ezzard's kind of battle. Walcott nervously taps his gloves. A desperate champion bullies him into the corner with a hard right. Charles is trying to regain control. Walcott senses his foe's failing strength. Now watch. Walcott's about to fire a left hook to the jaw. 3 ounce of remaining energy. Charles attempts to beat the 10 count. And it's all over. At 55 seconds of the 7th round, Ezzard Charles sheds his crown, and Jersey Joe Walcott becomes heavyweight champion of the world in one of the most stunning upsets of ring history. Immediately, they go to close quarters. Marciano in dark trunks has short arms. His reach is only 67 inches, 8 inches shorter than Lane's 75. So it's to his advantage to stay in close. Rocky pressuring. Marciano misses a left hook, and Lane answers by punching back to the head. Lane's the favorite tonight. Ringsiders are still talking about the way this 23-year-old slugger knocked out hard-punching Bob Satterfield and outpointed an old cutie like Jersey Joe Walcott, who later was to become heavyweight champion of the world. Lane tries a right to the head. That's his most damaging punch. Watch him and you'll see him throw that right again. And again. Because of that powerful right, and because he emerged from the same Rocky Mountain district that produced Jack Dempsey, Lane has been compared with the Manasseh Mauler. You remember Dempsey had a devastating right, too. Marciano working on Lane inside with short hooks to the jaw and body. He has a big right-hand punch, too. Lane bullies Marciano to the ropes. Working on the body, he makes Rocky miss with both hands. Later on, we'll find Marciano, the smaller, lighter man, doing most of the bullying. Lane tries another right, but Marciano moved inside the punch. Rocky about to miss a right uppercut, but he connects with a left to the jaw, and they go to close quarters, each man seeking an opening. Have you noticed Lane is carrying a bit of excess through it? He's heavy around the midsection, an indication he may not be in peak condition tonight. Watch this left to the jaw by Marciano. At this stage in his career, Rocky was mostly a right-hand puncher, but trainer Charlie Goldman has been at work, developing the slugger's left, and later in Marciano's career, it became a potent weapon. Most of the fighting at short range. There's Lane getting off, as they say in the trade. But you see Marciano well covered, well protected. Marciano, about to miss a right, will land a smashing left hook, followed by a right to the jaw. Rocky much quicker than Lane at following through after a miss. Lane, a glancing right to the body. Marciano's been pressuring, so Rex moves him away. Now watch him try another right. Rex Lane punching well and making a strong showing at the end of round 1. Round 3. A hard left hook to the head by Marciano, and they move to close quarters. So far, most of the fight has been fought at short range. We know why Rocky wants it that way. He has short arms. Apparently, Rex has been instructed to stay in close, too, in order to keep Marciano's long-range guns at a disadvantage. A long overhand right by the Brockton strong boy opened a gash over Lane's left eye in round 2. You notice Lane has been fighting from a more pronounced straight-up stance. He has a broad back and heavy legs. Marciano has heavy legs, too. He was a football player in high school and had a tryout as a big league catcher. He says he would have remained in baseball, but his arm went sour. Yet there's nothing wrong with the way he's winging his right tonight. Watch. Marciano's left hook to the jaw forces Lane to the ropes. A right uppercut by Rocky before Rex fights his way back and holds. Lane crowding, pushing. See how they keep crowding each other? Neither one giving the other man much room to punch. That's been the pattern throughout these first 3 rounds. left uppercut, followed by a right, staggers Lane. I'll keep watching for some of the best action of the fight so far. Marciano, dancing back, prepares to fire a smashing right that buckles the knees of Rex Lane. That punch took its toll, and Lane is forced to hold. Rocky wild with the left as he tries to press his advantage. And now you see the very first sign that Lane may be tiring. He seems to be leaning all over Marciano. Lane tries a right to the jaw and bullies Marciano to the ropes again. Rex is powerful despite his deceiving butterball body. He's 23 years old, 3 years younger than Rocky, but you notice he's a good deal slower in his actions. A ponderous type of puncher, Rex often is slow to react to openings. Rocky, missing with both hands, goes into a deep crouch, but he can't throw any punches from that position. Later in his career, he's to perfect that crouch into one from which he can attack. Both men seem to be floundering at the end of round 3. A round of good bruising action. The fans, some 12,500 of them in the garden, are enjoying the fight. That's Lane's manager, Marv Jensen, on the right, working on the gash over Rex's left eye. We're going to see Rex change his strategy here in round 4. Instead of working in close, he's going to try to keep Marciano away so that he can get in some long-range shot where he generates power. A roundhouse right by Marciano. No change in his plans. He's going to keep right on crowding, pressuring, firing body blows at close range where he can use his short arms to advantage. Watch those body blows. They're going to take a lot of steam out of Rex Lane. Another power-packed right by Marciano. Both men, remember, are heavy right-hand sluggers. Watch Marciano curl an overhand right around Lane's shoulder, then shove him to the canvas. That was no knockdown. Still, Rocky tries to follow through with another roundhouse right to the jaw. Both men missing. You'll see Lane scoring a solid right to the jaw, and Marciano short with his counter right. Have you noticed right along how Marciano keeps moving in? Even at this stage of his career, he was showing tremendous determination. Watch Lane in white trunks. From time to time, you'll see him hold Marciano, an indication to veteran ringsiders that the Westerner is tiring. Marciano keeps moving in to fire at short range. That's where he wants to be, in close. Watch. A good right to the body by Marciano. Those body blows are taking considerable steam out of Rex Lane, more than he shows. They're all tangled up, neither able to find punching room at the end of round 4. Lane's cornermen are concerned with that gash over his left eye as they remove his mouthpiece. That's Charlie Goldman toweling Marciano's face. Marty Weil, his manager of record, at Rocky's right. For a right-hand belter, it's a serious matter to have his left eye impaired. That's his front eye, so to speak. No wonder, then, Rex Lane's cornermen are so concerned with that cut over Rex's left eye. A cut blasted open by an overhand right of Marciano's in the second round. Lane backs Marciano to the ropes, but you see, he fails to land a single punch. Again, Rocky tries the offensive crouch, and you notice he keeps his jaw well protected from uppercuts. But his crouch is still a bit awkward. Marciano wings a right that throws him off balance. So far in the fight, he's been missing most of his long-range shots, but that right is the weapon that spells trouble for Lane. Those body blows, too, by Marciano are beginning to show on Rex Lane. Plenty of target for Marciano to shoot at. That Lane's a big, broad boy. A good left hook to the jaw by Marciano. Now you'll see him bounce a right off Lane's head. Another left hook. And another glancing right. Rocky piling on the pressure here in round 5. Lane showed signs of tiring. He's becoming flat-footed. His reflexes are starting to go. It seems to be an effort for him to maneuver now. Watch Lane cock his right, only to catch a haymaker right from Marciano. Rocky beat him to the punch. Definitely, Lane is tired. He's dropping his guard from time to time, if you notice. Both men have been missing hard rights. Mark Kahn, the referee. Watch Marciano wind up a right, then change his mind and shoot in a left. It missed. Rocky still hasn't learned how to handle that left. Not until his fight with Harry Matthews more than a year later did he gain full control of that weapon. Marciano's left merely grazes Lane. He misses a sweeping right, then another left, before Lane ties him up. The end of round 5. Rex Lane's a tired boy as he returns to his corner. Marv Jensen on the right, Lane's manager, is still concerned about that gash over Rex's left eye. 6, destined to be the final frame in this scheduled 10-round bout to establish a contender for the heavyweight crown. Lane's tired. He's completely flat-footed now. The cumulative effect of Rocky's punches have brought him to the verge of collapse. Rocky jabs with his left, and here it comes. You'll see Marciano fire a long-range right that stuns Rex Lane, and then he crumples forward to the canvas. Referee Mark Kahn picks up the count. It's 10 and out for Rex Lane, who hasn't moved a muscle. He's really out. And Rocky waves a right on high that did the job. He gets a congratulatory kiss from Ali Colombo, longtime friend, assistant trainer, and former manager. Then he circles the fallen Rex Lane, walking off nervous energy. Marciano could probably go another 15 or 20 if he had to. Johnny Addy gives Rocky the time of the knockout before making the official announcement. Here it is, 35 seconds of the 6th round. And Rocky Marciano has registered his 36th victory in a row. He's on his way to the top. For Rex Lane, this is the second defeat in 38 fights, and the first time he'd ever been knocked out. Time was to prove that his fight with Marciano marked the beginning of a downward trail. so Rocky Marciano emerged the top-ranking contender for the heavyweight crown. What happened after this fight is legend. Even at this early stage in his career, Marciano's fans were legion. Of 12,500 in the Garden that night, some 3,000, nearly 25%, followed their Rocky from his hometown of Brockton, Massachusetts, to cheer their hero in a victory they knew was certain. They shouted his name. They praised him. They waited to tousle his hair. Some even grappled with the police. July 12th, 19...
They call Rocky the Brockton Blockbuster for the simple reason he can really hit hard. He's had 38 fights as a pro, and he's won them all, 33 by knockout. And some of the fight experts say he's another Jack Dempsey. Marciano's the sluggard type of fighter. His arms are unusually short for a heavyweight, but he's strong and he's powerful, a willing mixer, and he keeps wading in after his man, swinging away until he drops him. Marciano's manager now claims that Rocky's been developing Dempsey's style of bobbing and weaving, and he's also developed a sneaky left hook. Lee Savold's a ring veteran. He's 36 years old, 9 years older than Marciano. Lee's been in the fight game for 17 years. He's retired a couple of times, but since his last comeback, he knocked out Bruce Woodcock in London and won the British Empire heavyweight title. It was on June 6, 1950. There's the end of round one. Back in just a moment. Now here we go into round two of this 10-round bout between Rocky Marciano, the Brockton Blockbuster, and Lee Savold. Marciano in the white trunks. Savold's a very clever boxer, probably one of the better boxers among the modern heavyweights. And some of the experts think his science and experience may fool Marciano tonight. Savold's last fight was against Joe Louis 7 months before. Louis knocked him out in 6 rounds. Altogether, Lee's had 108 fights. He's won 74, 53 by knockout. He's lost 30, and he himself has been knocked out 7 times. Over 9,000 fans here in Convention Hall tonight. They've come to see Rocky Marciano, the sensation of the heavyweight division. Everyone expects him to be the next world's champion. Photographers all around the ring apron on all sides, some of them practically right in the ring. This is probably Marciano's most crucial fight. The experts say they can't understand why Marciano's manager signed him to fight Savold. Because after Marciano knocked out Joe Louis a few months before, Rocky was acclaimed as the top contender. They figure Marciano has nothing to gain and everything to lose in tonight's fight. However, Marciano's manager says Rocky needs experience against a good boxer like Savold. They sharpen him up for Joe Walcott, the champion. If Marciano should lose tonight, his hope of meeting Joe Walcott, the champion, will take a serious setback. And it would put Lee Savold right back in the limelight again for a crack at the title. There's the end of round 2. In the third round, Savold continues on the defensive and takes a bad beating around the body and head. Now here we are in round 4. Rocky Marciano in the white trunks. Marciano's an overwhelming favorite to win tonight. All the fight experts think he ought to put Savold away within 5 rounds. Rocky has hit Savold with some of his best Sunday punches, the kind of punches that have knocked out previous opponents. But Savold is still in there, taking all Rocky can give. Marciano's been bobbing and weaving like Jack Dempsey used to. But Rocky's swinging instead of hooking, and he's been missing a lot. He hasn't fought since he knocked out Joe Louis, and he may be a little rusty. Then again, it may be because he's been sick lately. Rocky had a virus infection just a week before, and the doctors filled him full of penicillin. They advised him to have this fight postponed, but Rocky didn't want to disappoint the fans. Might have been wiser for Marciano to wait another week and regain his full strength. That probably would have made his punching much harder and sharper. There's the end of round 4. Back in just a moment. In the 5th round, Marciano batters Savold and cuts his lips to ribbons. Now here we are in the 6th round of this 10-rounder between the Brockton blockbuster Rocky Marciano and the veteran Lee Savold. Marciano in the white trunks. Marciano's been throwing a lot of punches. He's landed some, but he's missing more often. And his punches don't seem to have their usual steam. Most of the experts at ringside are ready to believe now that it's due to his layoff and his illness. Wow! Rocky sure swung with everything he had that time. There was no knockdown. Savold didn't hit him. Marciano's getting a little mad at himself. He wants to do at least as well as Lewis did against Savold. Lewis knocked Savold out in the 6th round, and here it's the 6th. And Marciano can't put Savold away. End of round 6. Savold's manager waves a towel and tells the referee he can't continue. He's a completely beaten man. Rocky Marciano's the winner by a knockout in the 6th round.
Joe's prediction? He'll win over Marciano by a knockout. Meanwhile, at Greenwood Lake, on the border between New York State and northern New Jersey, Rocky Marciano is completing his training under the astute supervision of trainer Charlie Goldman. Rocky stands 5 feet 11, 3 inches shorter than Joe Louis. His weight going into the big fight was 184, nearly 29 pounds lighter than Joe. His reach, you remember, is 9 inches shorter. The fact is that Rocky is smaller in measurement right down the line. He was 27 years at the time, more than 10 years the Bomber's junior, but 11 years shy his opponent's ring experience. The slight favorite at fight time was not Rocky Marciano, but Joe Louis. Rocky likes to skip rope, and he loves road work. Even on vacation, he likes to get up early and run a few miles before breakfast. Here's Charlie Goldman adjusting Rocky's helmet. You notice the helmet is cut a little differently from the one worn by Louis. This one has special guards to protect the cheekbones. Goldman has been Marciano's trainer right from the start. It was to Goldman that manager Al Weil entrusted this crude, unorthodox slugger who knew little about the science of boxing. Goldman, one of the top trainers in the business, is confident he has taught Rocky how to handle Louis. Here he is lacing Rocky's gloves prior to a few rounds of sparring. All in all, Rocky boxed 109 rounds while in training. You see him here wearing that cheek-protecting helmet. And if you watch closely, you'll find him ducking from time to time into a little crouch that he claims he patterned after Jack Dempsey's. That's not a defensive crouch. It's a position for attack, a method for crowding in. He's to improve it later on in his career. Because he's shorter than most of the heavyweights he faces, Rocky often pitches an overhand right. Watch. Remember that overhand right. We'll see the Brockton strong boy using it constantly in the big fight. The day before he was to meet Louis, Rocky said, "I never predict I'll knock anybody out, but I'm confident, very confident I'll win." Joe Louis, balding and bulky, eagerly answers the bell. The big question tonight, can the ex-champion come back? He's the slight favorite. Rocky maneuvers Louis to the ropes and lands a right to the jaw in the opening seconds of round 1. Louis seeking to beat Marciano and thus regain the role of leading contender for the heavyweight crown. Marciano going for his 38th straight win, his 33rd by knockout. Louis working behind his left jab. Marciano about to loop an overhand right. That's the punch you saw Rocky demonstrate in training, remember? Now you'll throw another, a sweeping overhand right that misses. Marciano's right is his most damaging weapon. Rocky bobbing and weaving a bit. In his later fights, he uses a crouch more pronounced than the one you'll see him use tonight. Look, Marciano, by far the lighter man, is pressuring Lewis. Watch him, and you'll see him pounding to Lewis' body. Pounding with his right at short range before the ex-champion ties him up. Again, Marciano bullies Lewis to the ropes, trying to free his right hand. Rocky is devastating when he pins his man against the strands, a fact borne out time and time again in subsequent fights. Lewis, another hard right-hand hitter, has caught many a rival against the ropes himself over the years. He's had 70 professional fights. And for the third time in the round, Marciano forces Lewis to the ropes. He fires to the body and gets in a left uppercut. Lewis tries to punch his way free, but at the end of round one, it's a good Marciano round. Trainer Manny Seaman whispers last-minute instructions to Joe Lewis as he answers the bell for round two and catches a winging left hook from Rocky Marciano. Once more, Lewis finds his back to the ropes. Rocky forced him to the stand 3 times in the first round. And here he is, still bullying the ex-champion. Marciano likes to pin his man back, then go to work on the head and body. Rocky, about to miss a right, lands a hard left hook to the head. He's pressuring, gunning for a shot at the heavyweight title. Did you see how quickly he recovered after the miss? Marciano bobbing and weaving. He hasn't as yet perfected that attacking crouch for which he later becomes famous. A sweeping right by Marciano misses and strikes the ropes with such an impact they quiver for moments afterward. Lewis back to a corner. Joe Lewis, generally recognized as one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time, finds himself bullied, crowded, pressured by a smaller, lighter, but harder-hitting Marciano. Rocky won the first round. He's been constantly the aggressor here in round two. Here comes a hard left-right left by Marciano, working on the body with his man pinned to the ropes. Rocky gets in a solid winging right to the head. You can see that Lewis feels those punches. Another sweeping right by Rocky misses. Remember, Marciano was on his way up at this time, and not even his fans were fully aware of the power in that right. Neither was Rocky. Marciano trying uppercuts, crowding Lewis toward the ropes. Rocky hooks to the head and forces Lewis to the adjacent strands. Lewis attempting to cover. He's definitely on the defensive. Lewis fighting back inside, but throwing fewer punches than Marciano. Again, Lewis is forced to the ropes. He fights his way off, but the end is near. Round 7 awarded unanimously to Marciano. From the start, as though determined to end the fight in this round. And as things turned out, that's just the way it happened. Let's watch closely now and see exactly how Marciano knocked out one of the greatest champions the ring has ever known. Rocky's crowding leaves little room for Lewis to punch. Now watch this. Marciano's hard left hook sends Lewis sprawling to the canvas. Referee Ruby Goldstein counts to 8 before Lewis gets back to his feet. Rocky tears in to follow through his advantage before Lewis ties him up. You can see that Lewis is in trouble. He's hurt. Marciano pitching with everything he's got. Backs his man to the ropes to finish him off. Now watch. A left. Another left crumples Lewis. A blazing right. And Lewis sails through the ropes. The working press try to help Joe back off the ring apron. Referee Goldstein on the left simply looks at the stricken fighter and knows that the ex-champion is finished for the night. Kneeling in the dark suit is Dr. Vincent Nardiello. Lewis is out. Brought down by a power pack right to the jaw at 2 minutes, 36 seconds of the 8th round. This is the second time in his career he was knocked out, and the first since Max Schmeling did it in 1936. Rocky is congratulated by trainer Charlie Goldman on the left and by his old-time friend Ali Colombo. Lewis fought only exhibitions after that. As he himself summed up his knockout by Marciano, the reactions were not there. My age counted against me. The Brown Bomber fell October 26, 1951 in the big fight.
And Jersey Joe Walcott has come out smoking. A 22-year veteran of the ring. He goes right after Rocky Marciano. As you see, beating him to the punch, pummeling him to the head. Marciano holding on momentarily. The opening minute of the fight, scheduled for 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world. Walcott goes right after Marciano, and Marciano is staggered. Walcott, starting real fast, has gone after Marciano. Marciano is down in this first round. He seems dazed up at the count of 3. His corner was yelling, take the longer count, but he was up at 3, and he's trying to keep his feet. Walcott looking to end this fight right here in round 1, and now we've gone to round 3, and it's still Jersey Joe Walcott. A good right cross, landing solidly, another left hook. Marciano's been staggered time and time again, but he is bull-like strong. A good right hand again by Jersey Joe Walcott, but Marciano is terribly strong. And now we move along into round 9. Marciano has fought back. Jersey Joe Walcott has slowed the pace somewhat. There you see Marciano boring in. Moving to the attack now, taking the play away for the first time from Jersey Joe Walcott, but Walcott is still leading on points here in the middle of the fight. The referee is Charlie Daggett, and he's got his work cut out for him. These two men are big and strong, marvelously conditioned. Jersey Joe Walcott stepping back, setting up his opponent, Rocky Marciano, the young challenger. Marciano with a good right hand. Dropped his guard for a moment, and now they begin to slug it out in the corner. Trading blows left and right. A left hook is good. And now we go into round 11. It's still anybody's fight, but Walcott is leading, and Rocky Marciano is coming on strong. The pace of the fight has slowed somewhat, but they're still very, very dangerous. With either hand,
Now they begin to miss. As you can see, they're visibly tired. A good right cross by Marciano. Walcott was staggered, but he fights right back. A tremendous fight here for the heavyweight championship. Walcott with another good left hook. Marciano getting to his foe much more frequently now, however. Marciano pulling him around. Now we're in round 13. At this stage, Jersey Joe Walcott is leading on all three scorecards. 7 rounds to 5, 7-4-1, and 8 rounds to 4. Rocky Marciano has to knock out Jersey Joe Walcott to win this fight, and his corner has told him so. And Marciano is going after the cagey, the veteran Jersey Joe. Walcott backing up just a little bit against the rope. Oh, a terrific right hand! He's down! He's down! 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and out! New heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano, and Jersey Joe is still on the deck. Let's take a look at it again. Watch that right hand. As he backs into the ropes, Walcott is caught with it. Here it comes. Bang! What a shot!
Feature presentation of the evening, 15 rounds for the World Heavyweight Championship. From Camden, New Jersey, the challenger wearing black trunks with a white stripe, weighing 197 3/4 pounds, the former World Heavyweight Champion, Jersey Joe Walcott. From Brockton, Massachusetts, wearing white trunks with a black stripe, weighing 184 1/2 pounds, the world heavyweight champion, Rocky Marciano. And now, ladies and gentlemen, referee Frank Sikora and the instructions for both contestants. 15 rounds, 3 more bouts to follow.
You boys received your instructions from the Illinois State Athletic Commission. I'm here to enforce them. I want a clean break at all times. No rabbit punching, no kidney punches. Be careful of your low blows. They may cost you rounds. In case of a knockdown, I want you to go to your furthest corner and stay there till I tell you to come out fighting. This being a championship fight, the 8 count is waived. Shake hands and come out fighting.
For the heavyweight championship of the world, this fight could end in a draw under the rules. The 8-second rule is waived, and more than 3 knockdowns in 1 round are permitted.
Good evening, everyone. They get out there quietly. Walcott backing away, put the light jab on the chin with his left hand. Marciano on a crouch, leaning a little bit to his right. Now Walcott crouches, takes a short hook on the chin, put a light jab on the chin. On the inside, they tie each other up as they go into a neutral corner. Now they're long range. Marciano throws a short right hand to the body. Again, they go in close, and the referee, Frank Sikora, very quietly gets them apart, and they break. Marciano in that little crouch, leaning a little bit to the right. Walcott standing straight up, brings in a short left on the chin, puts out a straight jab. Marciano disregards it, goes in close, and puts a light left hand to the body. They're just in the feeling out stage now, but look out, because Walcott is a sneak hitter with either hand. He's got dynamite in both of them, and so is Marciano. Marciano, a short hook on the chin on the inside. Marciano puts a light right hand to the body, and round 1, at least so far, is a bit tame. There's a short left on the chin by Marciano. Walcott put 2 light punches with 1 each hand to the body. 2 minutes to go in round 1 of a 15-rounder. If it goes that far, heavyweight championship of the world at stake. Walcott banking along the rope, steps under a long right thrown by Marciano. On the inside, Walcott puts a couple of light right hands to the body, and then comes in with a short right hand to the jaw as he comes out of that clinch. Walcott scores with a sharp jab, takes a light hook to the body, rips a hard right on Marciano's head, and they go in close again and tie each other up. Walcott looks just a little bit the cooler of the two. Well, he's got a lot more experience. He backs towards the ropes now, shuffles a little bit, ducks under a wild hook thrown by Marciano, and they clinch over in Rocky's corner. and the champion and challenger get apart when the referee tells them. Half the round is gone. Marciano with a short jab takes a light hook on the chin, thrown by Walcott. Walcott back with another jab. Marciano anxious to get in there and get it over if he can. Walcott backs along the ropes, takes a long left hand to the body. Walcott at long range. Marciano digs him to the body with that left hand again. Walcott backing towards the ropes now. Marciano, the aggressor, throws a hard right that lands high on the head. Walcott just moving away from the punch in time, and they clinch again on the ropes. There's the referee getting them apart. Less than a minute to go in round one. Walcott backs toward a neutral corner, puts a jab on the chin. Marciano throws a hard right to the chin, and Walcott is down on his back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's sitting there. 8, 9. Oh, did he beat the counter, didn't he? No, they claim it's all over. The referee says Rocky Marciano by a knockout in round one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 25 seconds of the first round, winner by a knockout, and still world heavyweight champion, Rocky Marciano.
Well, the fight's actual time was 2 minutes and 25 seconds, which does not make it the fastest knockout in heavyweight championship fights, but still awfully quick.
Charles and Marciano. Charles in a half crouch, takes a left hook on his head, but he partially blocked it. Marciano feinting the left hand, throws a left hook on the chin. Charles counters with a hard left hook to the chin. Charles scores with a solid right hand to the body. Marciano coming in, ever trying for a knockout. To land one of those detonating punches of his, throws a right hand to the body. It's partially blocked. Marciano moving in on his man. Both boys in superb condition. No question about it. Charles, a fierce, smashing left hand to the body of Rocky Marciano, and no return by the champion. Big hard with a left and a right to the body as they flurry, and a hard flurry with honors about even. And Marciano scored with a long right hand to the body. Marciano a fierce left hook to the chin, a solid right to the jaw by Marciano. Marciano scores with a right to the body, digs the left hand to the body, and Charles himself scored with a right to the chin. Marciano a right to the body, a left hook to the chin. Marciano is throwing them in punches, not caring whether they land or not, but he's throwing them in there. He's coming in on Charles. Charles puts out a jab, puts out another. It's short of the mark. Marciano straightens up, and then he straightens up Charles with a right uppercut to the chin, a right to the head. Charles takes the right hand to the body. Less than 2 minutes to go in the round. A solid right to the chin thrown by Marciano. And Charles has been in trouble a couple of times, but every time he seems on the way, he fights back gamely and bitterly and well. Marciano winds up with the right hand, and Charles just pulls his head back in time, but he then takes the left hook to the head. Marciano goes in close. Charles ties him up on the inside. Charles feints the left hand. Here's Marciano coming back to the attack now with half the round gone. Marciano scores with a left hand, a whipping right that hurts Charles. Charles is staggered by the right hand, staggered by a left, staggered by another right. He lays it down. Marciano winding up, puts the right hand to the chin. Charles is woozy. He takes the left hook to the chin, takes the left hand as the left hook to the jaw. Charles is sitting duck, but Marciano can't find him. Charles puts the right hand to the chin, misses the left over the head. Marciano puts that left to the chin, drives the right hand to the jaw. Charles in trouble, takes the right to his body, thrown by Marciano. Marciano pounds the right hand to the chin, a left hand to the jaw that staggers Charles again. Charles is game, he's fighting, but he's weary. He takes the right uppercut to the chin. About 45 seconds to go in the round. Marciano winds up with a right hand to the crunch. Charles is staggered again. Marciano hooks the left hand to the jaw, but it's wide of the mark. Marciano comes in, drives the right hand to the body. Charles backs away, takes the right to the chin, a left hook to the jaw, another right high on the head by Marciano. Marciano hooks the left hand on the chin. Charles will not go down. He is staggered by a right uppercut, but he pushes Marciano away. Marciano rips that right to the jaw. He winds up with a right and a left hook to the chin. Charles fires a straight right hand to the chin that hurts Marciano. Marciano is hooked with a left and a right to the chin. Marciano drives the right hand to the body, digs the left hand to the body of Ezzard Charles. Marciano misses the right hand over the head and comes in with a left hook to the jaw at the bell. 15th and final round, and few thought it would go this far, but there they are, battling away for the biggest title in Fistiana. They go to close quarters, no damage done so far. Marciano's left is wide of the mark, and he takes a left hook to the chin, a right to the head thrown by Charles as they maul their way into a clinch.
It's hard to tell how they're going to judge this fight, so this round is all important. Marciano scores with the left, throws a straight right to the chin, a left hook to the jaw, another left and a right to the body by Marciano. Marciano misses the left hand, scores with a jab after taking a jab, takes the right to the head. Charles has been hurt time and time again, but he would not go down. There have been no knockdowns in the fight. Marciano coming in now. He's been bothered by the left hand. He's game. There's no question that both are as game as any fighters who ever fought for the heavyweight title. Now they're at long range again. Marciano takes a grazing right hand to the jaw. Marciano throws a left hook to the chin, and Charles holds on for a moment. Marciano moving back to the attack. Charles feigning the left hand, not throwing it for a moment. Charles takes a left and then a short pumping right to the body by Marciano. Less than 2 minutes to go in the fight now. We're in the 15th and final round, and Marciano faces a bloody mess, no question about it. Charles is marked too. He throws a straight right hand to the jaw of Marciano. They go in close. Now they're at long range. Here's Marciano coming in with a grazing right and a grazing left hook to the chin, putting a short right to the body, a left to the chin, smashing right to the chin. Marciano coming back with a left and a right to the chin, a left hook that staggers Charles again, and Charles fighting on nerve, digs the left to the body, makes another left and a right to the chin, another right by Marciano goes over the head, he misses the left. Charles is wobbly, but he holds on. Marciano is fired too. Marciano comes in, throws a left and a right to the chin. There have been no knockdowns in the fight. Marciano throws the right high on Charles' head. 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. Charles puts both hands to the body. Marciano puts the right to the body, a left hook to the jaw as they come out of the clinch, another left, a right high on the head, a short left to the mouth, another left, a right to the body thrown by Marciano, a left hook to the chin, a right to the jaw. Now fires a wicked right hand to the body, and they fall in close. Marciano puts the right to the body, a left to the body, a right to the chin, a left and a right to the jaw, another left and a right to the jaw. Charles is staggered, but he will not go down. He's staggered again by a left and a right on the chin, a wild left, another right to the chin, a left and a right to the jaw. Half a minute to go in the fight. Another left by Marciano. It's all Rocky now. He fires a left and a right to the chin. Charles takes the right uppercut, takes the left, takes another right, takes the left, and bows and waits. He's staggered by a right, staggered by another right. He almost goes down. The rope pulled him up. He takes the right and the left to the jaw. Marciano is unbridled fury here in the 15th round. Charles holds on. It's almost over. Wait till you hear this crowd yell. Marciano hooks the left on the chin, drives the right to the chin, but he cannot get Charles off his feet. It's all over. All over. And they throw their arms around each other. And well they might, because two more game or gallant fighters never fought for the title. Did they, Bill?
No, sir, Don, they never did. Here is the decision.
Judge Harold Barnes scores it 8-6, 1 even, favor of Marciano. Judge Ali Aidala scores it 8-5, 2 even, favor of Marciano. Wait a minute. That was Ruby Goldstein's vote. 8-5 and 2 even. His judge, Ali Aidala, scores it 9-5, 1 even, favor of Marciano. Winner by unanimous decision, and still the heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano.
September 17th, 1954, Yankee Stadium, New York. 35,000 fight fans in the ballpark see Rocky Marciano defend his World Heavyweight Championship against former champion Ezzard Charles. Marciano out of his corner. Postponed 48 hours because of the weather. The fight starts briskly. Rocky in the black trunks weighs 187. Charles in the white trunks is 5.5 pounds heavier. The referee is Al Burrell. Marciano won the World Heavyweight title on September 23rd, 1954 by knocking out Jersey Joe Walcott in 13 rounds at Philadelphia. Ezzard Charles held the title for 10 months. He lost it to Walcott in July of 1951. Rocky Marciano, grim and determined. Ezzard Charles hooking away with that left hand. Marciano to the punch. That's the end of round one. This is the second time these two have met. Marciano winning a close 15-round decision exactly 3 months ago. Ezzard Charles trying to keep Rocky Marciano off at long range. Hits him with a good right hand. Marciano strong as a bull, though. Good right hand by Rocky Marciano. Charles may be hurt. Marciano going after Ezzard Charles. And Charles goes down. He's up at the count of 2. Marciano swarming in. Looking to the end of the fight right here and now. Ezzard Charles fighting back well. That's the end of round 2. Charles out of his corner for the 5th round. He's beginning to show less of the caution and more of the skill that won the 1st round for him. Ezzard Charles hoping to become the first man in history to win the heavyweight crown again. Rocky Marciano seems tireless, constantly wailing away with lefts and rights to the body. Ezzard Charles holding on now, but Marciano keeps belting away. Ezzard Charles fighting back well, but again Marciano holds the upper hand. Marciano will miss a few. But when he lands, they really hurt. The end of round 5. Watch Marciano out of his corner. Grim determination. This 6th round sees Charles making another nice start of the round, but before the 3 minutes are over, it's Marciano's round again. Rocky has won all of his 46 professional bouts, 42 of them by knockouts. The challenger is backing away, making Rocky's style of attack all the more effective. Rocky slowly wearing his man down. But Charles is a real cagey veteran, having won 87 of his 99 professional bouts. Climax in a few seconds. Marciano's nose has been split into 2 ribbons of flesh, and his handlers have covered it with a Pinocchio-like bandage. And that nose is a target for Ezzard Charles, and a legitimate target. In their last fight, the champion was slowed up by a gash under his left eye, and Charles knows it's one way to slow him up again if possible. But Marciano's aggressiveness is not making it easy. Ezzard Charles beginning to show the signs of wear and tear. Good combination punches by Rocky Marciano. Charles may be in trouble again. The end of round 7. The 8th round has hardly started before Charles is to open a cut under Rocky's right eye, but this was to be the final dramatic round of the fight. And from here on out, it's just a case of the bleeding champion measuring his man for size. Marciano's eye and nose are badly cut, but his mean, hard punches are definitely weakening the challenger. Down he goes! Once more, a chance to see the punch that sent him down. There it is. He's on his way. Rocky is all business. Charles getting up, but he's dazed, and the champion now has him at his mercy. The knockout punches are on their way. Count those 6 punches in succession. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it.
The time, 2 minutes, 36 seconds of the 8th round. Winner by a knockout, and still heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano.
From Battersea, England, the heavyweight champion of the British Empire, wearing black trunks, Don Coquelle. In the blue corner, from Boston, Massachusetts, weighing 189 pounds, wearing white trunks, the heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano.
Both of you boys have been briefed by our chief inspector. I'm in here to enforce the rules. I want you to shake hands now. When the bell rings, come out and start fighting.
Referee Frank Brown will be the 3rd man in the ring. This, of course, is the first American-British heavyweight title match since 1937, when Joe Louis outpointed Tommy Farr. Last man out of the ring in the champion's corner is his manager, Al Weil, one of the shrewdest in the business, giving last-minute instructions. Out they come, 15 rounds to go for the World Heavyweight Championship. Both fighters feel each other out, much as you'd expect any strangers to do. One of Rocky's best punches is a left hook, and Don has his right glove held high to protect against it. Don has taken several real stiff blows to the head, but is still moving forward. Rocky and White sometimes boxes from a low crouch, almost belt high. men stay very close to ring center. Don was expected to use much more footwork. They don't hear the bell and continue to throw punches near the end of this round. Left hooks, uppercuts, rights to the head, one after another, all damaging blows. Ninth round, and Don is still on his feet, but his knees are beginning to sag. Of the English Bulldog breed. By a technical knockout, Rocky Marciano is the winner and still the heavyweight champion of the world.